Hello, my name is Roger, and I started using Unity a year ago in April of 2017. Now, one thing that didn't pop into my mind until recently is how big of an object can you create in a Unity scene? Can you create an object as big as the Earth? Perfect computer-generated meter to measure with. So let's go into Unity, pop it in. As you can see, it automatically knows the scale compared to a human. Checks out. We have an Earth. As you can tell where the shapes line up there on the corner, it is exactly a meter in diameter. Well, how big is the actual Earth? 12 million meters? So once we do that, because the camera is inside of the Earth, we can't actually see it. And because of the scale of it, it's not exactly rendering. So let's just throw in the sun. Let's throw in a moon, which is a fourth of the scale, which seems really small when you actually go to make that object, but that is the size of the moon. How far away is it? It's an elliptical orbit, so we're just going to do an average, which is about 30 Earths. So we'll take our little meter, move it up 30, and bam! We have the actual distance as far as meter goes right now of the moon, the Earth, and the distance in between those two. And we also have a sun that is rotating around at the correct angle in regards to the Earth, and I also did tilt the Earth's axis. So there we go, we have a basic scene, and as you can see here, oh my god, the collision sent my character way far out from the zero origin. Here, that didn't happen. We have the moon moved far away enough where it doesn't hit us, just close enough. And what we see here is that we can not only render the Earth and the moon in its exact scale, but we can also see them at its farthest orbit, which is absolutely insane. Just, I mean, look at how big the moon is, and that's only a fourth of the size of the Earth. We are absolutely a speck in this high poly sphere. You can see the straight lines on it, and this 4K texture has been reduced to just shades of gray. Can't see any details, so that is just the start. What I'm wondering now is, if we were to take our character, put it at the very top of the Earth, and drop it, how long would it take to reach the bottom? Well, let's do it. So what I've done is I've put the camera into 2D perspective, which means that the camera angle is perfect along the horizon. So even though this object is millions of meters away, we can still set our character to roughly the top. So here I'll start the scene, and we are actually falling from the North Pole, and the distance we are from is just outside of the diameter of the Earth, so we will fall in a straight line. We're never going to run into it. And I've started the timer, so here we go. So for this first angle, I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to measure the movement because we can't really see anything really move. If I just set the character controller of the model, I'm going to angle it so his left foot is right there, right at the top. And as we let it speed through, you can see how it changes. One thing you can notice is the distortion of the character. There are many reasons that could happen. I don't know the answer, so all I can do is guess, but in a similar way that a monitor sort of grabs data in order to display a pixel in a select area, I think that there's some sort of metered rendering technique that is grabbing this character, which is super far off from its original 000 origin, and it's as it's calculating different pieces, the character is moving, so it's leaving sort of a jumbled mess. That has to be my guess. It could be also the camera within there, which I've set up to render at high distances in order to catch the sun and the moon in its far orbit. So that's just one little setup thing or guess as to why the character is so distorted when it gets so far away from the origin. But if you did want to make a scene in Unity and to actual scale, but you didn't want to have to deal with this type of distortion, my solution to that would be to keep your character controller locked at the center origin and then move the other scene in the solar system move that around, because those seem to render just fine, but the camera or the character being super far away from the origin is not handling it as well. And this is the area where you can start to notice the angle of the sphere change, so it now looks like we are on the bottom half. One more thing to note, the velocity at which the character is falling could be changing. The mass of the character and the gravity that is default in Unity, I didn't change that, so if you were to recreate this scene, you would probably get similar results unless you change that around. And now, it's been just over 30, or just under 30 seconds, and we're below the Earth. If we look at the moon and the angle towards that, we're well below Earth now, and the angle at which you see Antarctica sort of proves that as well. So this is just for fun. I'm just sort of seeing the distortion on the character, which can be invisible all the time, actually. Just doesn't even appear, so yeah, lots of takeaways, but the biggest one is it is possible to render Earth in Unity, but how you do so will determine the outcome. So I hope this was fun for you.